morning, you guys from the Goldie. I hope you're doing very well. It's been a few weeks since we landed on the Gold Coast, and if you've been following us on Instagram, you will have known that we've been rather busy. We've been sorting out our phone contracts, sorting out TFNs, ABNs, Medicare, work, but also house hunting. Now we've actually been very busy. We've been visiting places all over the Gold Coast.
Yeah, all the way down to Burley Heads, Mermaid Waters, Broad Beach, Surfers Paradise, and our current favourite,
Southport. And everywhere else in between. So we said we'd take you along with us, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We filmed all the apartment viewings, so we are going to kind of show you where we've been, the apartments that we've seen, what we've liked, what we've not liked, and more importantly, where we've ended up. And at the end, we'll show you a little bit of some tips and tricks that we kind of used, and but yeah, let's get on with it. So this is a property in Burley Waters, and one thing we wanted to kind of say off the bat is this property looked amazing online.
Yeah, we were both very excited to look at this property as photographed beautifully. However, when we walked up to the property, immediately in my brain was like, nah.
Nah. I mean, the kitchen looked amazing. We're now looking at a bedroom, and you can see that there is just no bed there. It's felt like a wooden shack almost, purely out of wood. And I think one thing that the camera hasn't really picked up is just the amount of
there was a lot of work that needed doing, and I didn't like the fact that just there I'm walking into the bathroom, which is off of the living room area. The functionality of the house just didn't work very well at all.
No, it didn't. It was quite an eye-opener, I feel. The garden is beautiful. It's kind of on a hill. Had a very nice outdoor area. It seemed kept very well, but again, it just had a lot of work that needed to be done to it. And now we believe this property was $650 a week, so that's one thing we need to make you aware of. $650 a week. Everything is weekly here. You can either pay that it's at the landlord's discretion whether or not you pay that in a month in advance or fortnightly or however. Anyway, so yeah, this was our first property. It's backed onto one of the main roads, which was one of the views out at the kitchen. Yeah. Okay, this is Enderley Avenue. We believe this was $750 a week in an apartment block, very modern apartment block, right next to the hotel, and literally backs onto the beach, which is beautiful. But it was very cramped.
Very small, anti-pets. We thought maybe even speaking to the letting agent, he might be like, oh no, that's not an issue for us, you have to have pets. He was quite rude. If you want a pet, get a house. That put me off straight away. Very modern, very beautiful, but we just would have outgrown that very quickly.
Very quickly. It was just a one bed. So for $750 for a one bed, being very small is, well, it's not quite what we were looking for. Let's be fair, but we were certainly considering it until he mentioned the remark on not having a cat. The views were really nice,
but I was convinced that floor was not straight. It just did not feel very straight at all. It was nice. I think for a single person looking for accommodation right on Surfers Paradise Beach, you would have done well there, but no.
And this one is in Southport. We believe this is $650. I believe it was a 2-bed, had a nice upstairs to the bedrooms, but the living room was downstairs with
a lot of furniture that had to stay, which was really questionable at the best of times. Again, I didn't find that it flowed very well. You'd go from the living room to the dining room into the kitchen where we are now, and then your back door into your garden, and then into a room off the side which could also be classed as your garage. There just wasn't a lot of flow and thought put into the functionality of the home.
Also, there was a lot of clutter, I guess, from other people living here. That's one thing that we did find out. Unfortunately, we weren't able to film all of the viewings. You always ask before you can film, especially if other tenants are still living there. This was one of the rare occasions that we still could. Massive TV, stupid placement. Okay, let's move upstairs
and enjoy the sights of the beautifully blue bathroom as you come up the stairs.
Shocking. Very quirky little roof, little building though. I thought it had a lot of character to it. I definitely feel as though it could do with modernising.
Lots of potential for if you wanted to buy it and remodel and remake it into something that you wanted. It had the bones. The flesh just wasn't very well thought out or put in the correct place.
There's a blue bathroom again. As you can see, the face of someone who does not want a blue bathroom.
Definitely not.
It felt very cramped in there, actually.
Yes, that's something I found a lot with old Queensland homes is you take every opportunity to use every single space that you have. There's no openness really to the old Queensland homes. Case in point. And very old styling, like they still enjoy like metal frames. That cupboard was nailed shut, you couldn't even open it, and that put me off straight away thinking, what is hiding in there?
I want to point out as well, it was a very hot day, and I believe we were in thongs, and we walked for quite a way to get to this place. So, I mean, we might be a little bit biased, but it was, we weren't happy, shall we say, with this one.
It's definitely a skip I miss. The estate agent also rushed us out a little bit, so we were alright. This one's in Mermaid Waters, which wasn't very far from Pacific Fair, our favourite shopping mall. I really liked this one when we saw it online. It was furnished, the pictures that we saw, but the more time we spent in the property, I just thought it was a little bit dark. And I wasn't quite sure if that would be a long-term space for us. I really don't like the fact that the washing machine is in your bathroom area. That puts me off a little bit. What do you think?
Separate toilet though, that was nice. I agree. The bedrooms were very dark and they backed onto car parks. So as soon as you open the curtains, then basically you're just looking at someone's shed. They modernised it a lot, which was nice in a particular way. But like I said, or like Amy's just said, it was way under our budget, which and very convenient and close to the shop. So it was nice. It was certainly a contender for a while. I feel we liked the kitchen. I thought that was quite good. The bathroom was very small. It had its typical stuff, which was nice. Okay, this is in a village called the Smith Collective. This is based in Southport. We are looking at a furnished apartment here. 2-bedroom, very nicely spaced, and reminded us of our place in the UK. It was also one of the first apartments, or certainly like kind of apartment blocks, that had its own pools, gyms, and yeah, it felt great.
It did. It felt like a little home away from home. We don't particularly miss the UK really, but we loved the apartment that we lived in, and this gave us a little bit of a reminder of what we had. I like the coordination of the colours. All of the buildings are different colours, and we're currently in the blue building, so you can see there's blue elements throughout.
It's beautiful. All air-conned rooms, all fanned rooms. It was a very busy day, as you can tell. Lots of people came to see these apartments. We were told that they actually go rather quick. This is I think it's like a master bedroom as well. Fits a queen bed. View's pretty nice. Yeah, it was very modern, kind of spoke to us a lot. 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms. No baths, unfortunately. Okay, this next property is in Mermaid Beach, which is just on the opposite side of where Pacific Fair was. Had a nice kitchen.
And we're going to redo the worktops before they let it out.
That's true. And I remember it having a really nice balcony as well. I think this was 675.
It was. The real estate agents made the landlord drop the price due to the fact that it had no fans, which he had then put in, and there's no air conditioning in this unit at all.
And again, we've just been in the bathroom, and that's where you would put your washing machine and you have your laundry area, which again is quite commonplace in Australia. We started to find wet rooms, I guess that tends to be the thing, but it was it didn't quite tick all the boxes for us. Again, it had a really nice balcony view, which was really cool.
I got excited over the little mini walking robe.
Yeah, and en suite, so you can't complain there. It was an okay apartment. I didn't hate it, but yeah, it wasn't quite what we were looking for. That being said, we did put in an application, and I believe this one got rejected as well.
No, it was in the process, so it was still processing by the time we withdrew.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of my favourites, and certainly my second contender. This was an apartment in the Meriton, which is a hotel just off Surfers Paradise North. It was a 1-bed, but did have an office space as well. We thought it was quite a big bedroom for 1 bedroom. Built-in wardrobes, very modern. Semi-furnished. Beautiful kitchen, very big, very spacious. Again, this was 700, and look at that view.
It's hard to say no to a view like that.
It was stunning, and we were very shocked indeed. And apparently that day was a crap day as well. But we were just taken aback. It was beautiful.
This is the Robina townhouse that James had found. We were going down to visit some friends of mine in New South Wales, and we stopped on the way. And I loved it immediately. Loved it. It was semi-furnished, and some of the furniture was dark, but I thought, no, we can live with that. 2 floors, and I bloody loved it. It was beautiful, and I saw us living there for longer than 12 months and settling into Robina for a good life.
A very good life. It was a beautiful house. A very nice and modern estate, shall we say. Very close to shops. But as we kind of found out, you kind of needed a car to get here. But that was fine. We were very happy with this. We put in a good application. Unfortunately, this was one of the rejections that we found out later on, which was unfortunate, shall we say. But I think it certainly opened our eyes up to Robina.
I loved that it had its own laundry room, and both bedrooms had en suites, and the main had a walk-in robe. It just felt like we could create our own space. It wasn't anything was preset aside from the semi-furnished, but
and it was big. It was big. It was sizable. You weren't, aside from the stairs being a little bit small, you weren't walking into one another. There was a lot of space in the kitchen, in the living room. The courtyard outside was nice. It came with its own garage.
it was a winner.
And there you go, we will show you a full apartment tour very, very soon for another video. But we said we'd give you some tips and tricks as to what we actually used, and certainly our experience as well. Everyone's experience is completely different, but we feel as though stuff that we learnt on the internet didn't necessarily apply to us.
And the more you know, the more it helps you make a good decision.
Exactly. One thing that we found very useful is actually using the tenant app instead of real estate. I found real estate was good to kind of see what was around, but
you just didn't have the opportunity to have your personal input on your inspections, when you wanted to inspect the property, the various days that you could view a property on, whereas tenant app was really useful that you could put in your criteria. So for us, having pets allowed was really important because of bagels, so we were able to add a pets allowed tab onto our search, and that gave us a lot of properties with different days and different times to view. And if a property wasn't available, it then gave you the option to then speak to the real estate agent or the landlord. Reach out directly to them and ask for inspection dates and times, which is really good.
I think it really helps us to navigate, kind of like structure our days better, because it's synchronized up with your calendars better. And it just allowed us to just plan our days. That's one thing that I feel as though we probably could have done a lot better, because we were looking at basically anywhere from the Gold Coast, and the Gold Coast is massive. It's huge, and we didn't necessarily factor that in. So like one day we would be in Southport, and then we'd
need to be in Broadbeach within 15 minutes, and without a car that's just not possible. So definitely decide on your areas for the day and plan your property inspections according to that. This isn't London anymore where you can walk from A to B within 10 minutes. It's if you don't have a car and you're relying on public transport, which is fabulous here, it does take time.
Public transport is fantastic. The G is great. However, at the moment, and it is 2024 at the moment, it only covers from Helensvale all the way to Broadbeach, which is good, but getting to Burley, Palm Beach, you're going to need to then navigate through the buses, and that could be equally very overwhelming, shall we say. I think another thing that we really liked was just to getting to know our viewing agents. It was actually quite difficult to do that through real estate and through the different agencies that were around, because we would see loads of different people at loads of different places. I found where we settled here, we were very lucky that it's kind of.
The lettings agent was really, really great. She was amazing, and she was open to having conversations with you, which we found was very different from other letting agents who were just like, oh, I don't usually do this house, I'm just doing it because someone's off sick. Whereas our letting agent in our current place was very open to getting to know who we were. So, James formed a really good relationship with her, and always called her to go, oh, how's everything going? Is there anything more that we need to offer you? So definitely building that relationship with your viewing agent, if they allow it, is always a good thing to do. Always chase.
I know it sounds awful and it's awkward and it can be very, very difficult to have those conversations, but they're used to it. So always pick up that phone every 3 to 4 days and go, hey, is everything okay? Is there anything else we can kind of do? I think that kind of leads nicely into the backup plans. One thing that we certainly noticed when we moved here was we thought to ourselves, okay, we've got a bunch of savings, we can actually, put forward 10 weeks worth of rent. Unfortunately, that hasn't necessarily happened. And one of our big hiccups was the fact, we actually got rejected. We got rejected a few times, so be prepared for rejections. But we got rejected for a few times, mainly to the fact of work. I think work and financial security, they look at that more so than
who you are as a person.
Very much so. So we were very lucky. We were able to secure jobs relatively quickly, which was good, and that helped us to secure where we are now. But make sure that you do have a backup plan. There was at one point that we were considering moving to Brisbane, actually, just because of we'd seen 15 properties, I think. At least 15 properties, and we were getting rejections. Our first rejection we got from was the place that we're actually staying now. But we did get a rejection from here, and it just snowballed from there. And I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. It was very tough. We found that very difficult to process, especially because of just how quickly things were moving, and obviously we were on a time scale as well. Focusing on what's important to you.
Oh yes, definitely research your area that you're going into. So we obviously loved the Goldie, and we were always very adamant that we would settle in the Goldie. But then coming from the UK, which is a teeny tiny island, to Australia, which is 10,000 times bigger, we didn't quite grasp how big the Goldie actually was. So that really gave us a chance to look at the different areas that we wanted to settle in, and we're definitely more city busy people. We like being in the thick of things, and while Southport isn't necessarily right in the city, it's still busy enough for us. There's restaurants, there's big open spaces, it's quite busy with people. So that might not be your cup of tea. You might want to be more in suburbia, which Robina might work better for you, and we really loved Robina, but unfortunately that application didn't go through. But I'm very happy with where we are now.
Again, like we've mentioned before, but public transport is really good here. Like for us, the tram is a 5-minute walk away, and that gets us into the city within 15 minutes, if that. Robina was, we loved it, and to be honest, that's probably somewhere that we'll look to
settle long term.
Yeah, potentially. So, but you're going to really need a car to get there. Go away from the coast is very good. It's very appealing. You get more for your money. It's trickier to get there if you haven't got a car. So certainly look into getting a car if you can. There are lots of rideshare apps and stuff like that, so that really helped us.
Yeah.
So one final point that we do want to make out is everyone will say that the property market is in crisis at the moment, and I think crisis is probably a harsh word. I would certainly say there's a lot more demand for properties here. So there's a lot of properties available to rent and to let and to buy. That you can't deny that there aren't any properties. However, there are a lot of people going for them. You would have seen in some of the videos that there are multiple people in one viewing at any one time, and like I said, the demand is just really high, so the competition is really high. Again, it's all about just trying to form that relationship and understanding that they're able to kind of come to you and you can offer something, instead of just someone who is not talking at a viewing, or not asking questions, or not building any form of rapport at all. I think the demand is very high here. I don't know if that's going to be the same for any other cities, but it certainly is for the Gold Coast.
Yeah, and definitely be flexible with your budget. We were very dead set that we wouldn't go above a certain weekly rental budget. That very quickly went out the window when we received our first rejection. Whilst we couldn't offer the 10 weeks up front, we were then able to be more flexible with our weekly rent. Our current place did not expect 10 weeks from us as long as we paid the bond, and we had enough to cover rent for 2 weeks. They were more than happy, so that helps us get furniture and everything like that. But be very mindful and flexible about, yes, you understand that you've only got X amount per week that you could offer, but that needs to be a flexible amount of money.
Very much so. So yeah, guys, that is our experience of the past few weeks. Like we've said, it's been tough. It's been a bit of a ride. We very much enjoyed it, and we're very much happy where we are, and we can't wait to show you more. So make sure that you do like and subscribe, and of course follow us on Instagram for more behind the scenes and more stuff of what we get up to. Till then, everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.